Okay, so this is how we're gonna do a DIY soft top. Stay tuned. All right, what you're gonna need a saw, either a hand saw or a power saw. You're gonna need a pencil. For my situation, I use tape, drill, measuring tape, a bunch of screws, maybe a couple beers, and get you a battery powered fan. Okay, you're also gonna want a couple packs of these, as well as some bungee cords of various sizes. This is completely optional, but what you also need would be some 90-degree right angle 2x4 brackets. You're also gonna need 6 hinges specifically made for 2x4 width. These are typically good for really any interior or exterior door. All right, so here's from the top. Here's the skeleton frame of it. I have an 8-foot bed by 6-foot bed. This is a 2006 Dodge Ram 2500. I also have a toolbox, and you will not have to remove any toolbox for this application. All right, so here's what we got going on here. So currently I have 3 ribs built. These are all foldable. And I also have 2 center supports. So without further ado, what you're gonna be doing is you are going to measure from the outside of your bed support hole for your sidewalls. You're gonna measure from this outside point to the adjacent outside point. And you want to do this for every single one of them because they are all different. For example, this one's 67 inches, that's 68.5, and that's 70. So after getting your 3 measurements, typically normal truck beds are going to be about 6 foot wide if you have a full-size truck. Not too sure about the smaller trucks, but those are going to run you about 6 feet. So what I did personally was I got 3 12-foot boards, all cut into 6-foot segments. So one 6-foot segment I cut for each rib, and then I had it shortened to its specified bed hole width. Then, more particularly so, the next measurement you want to get is from right here, the base of your cab, the top of your bed to the top of your cab. If you want it sticking up a little bit, cool, go for it. But that's the measurement that you really need, because this measurement is going to specify the height all the way around. What you also need to account for is the depth of these holes. For example, I want to say this is 4 inches and 5/8 deep, but this is the same for every single one of them, because you need to add that to your cab height. Okay, but once in doing so, you also need to take into account the width of this hole. This is a standard 2x4 width. This is not. So you're going to have to shorten your ends. And you want to give it some more rigidity, so you want to keep that thickness. So what I recommend doing is finding the width of your hole, finding the center point of that, aligning that with the center point of your board, and then you are going to make this perfect sized piece to fit into this hole. Okay, now once you've cut all of these out for every single one, if I'm not mistaken, most vehicles should have 6 holes. If you have a toolbox, here's the part where I'm going to start adding in here. So I have a toolbox, so I only cut out 4 of these posts. The reasoning is because I didn't want to pull my toolbox out. So these might look familiar. These are more of the heavy-duty painter sticks. Got them at Home Depot, I want to say for $1.28 for a 3-pack. So here that is here, and I did this so that way I can have some flexibility, so that way I can get around the hole on the side of the bed. It's kind of hard to see from here. So that way I could get around this edge of my toolbox and have it warp around without having to remove my toolbox. It's the same exact way on the other side. Made sure it was perfectly centered. Okay, so now the next measurement you are going to need is the same measurement that you used for all of your other ribs. You're going to use that measurement for here. If you have a toolbox, you're going to subtract this height right here. So from the top of your toolbox to the bottom lip edge where it meets the sidewall, subtract that, and those are the type of the length of boards you're going to cut. You're going to need 2 of those specifically for this purpose. If you have more holes, you're going to need more. But that's what I recommend. Also, don't mind the duct tape. I just did that to give me some more rigidity. These are screwed into place, but they're also duct taped and wrapped over. Honestly, I don't know why. This here, I just did this to prevent some splitting. Kind of worked out in my favor. So yeah. Okay. Now this part is copy and paste for everything. So, keep myself from falling over here. Just as simple as that. Now, noting this, your height, you want it to be, if you want it to be a specific height, you need to account for the width of your top board. So for example, these are 23 inches long. I wanted this about 5 inches long. These aren't a perfect 2-inch gap width. So I counted for the thickness of this, added it to the length of this to where it met the bed, and that gave me my overall height. Okay, so then at the end of the day, when these are all done and assembled, I can easily fold them down and store them when need be. Now, once you have these ribs in place, all of your ribs in place, you then want to build yourself a center brace. So what I did, and here's the other side, was I took my next measurement, which was from the edge of the rib that went here. I marked the inside edge, met the outside edge over here, and I made sure that this center rib was plumb and level before I got any sort of measurements. I measured that gap, transferred that measurement to a board, cut it. And then I installed these 90-degree 2x4 brackets onto the edge. I know it's in the end grain, but they're temporary. It's not necessarily temporary, like a temporary fix. I mean temporary in the sense that it's supposed to be easily removed. This is not for highway purposes. This is just for me to like camp out during my lunch break and take a nap. So once you have that board, you're gonna take the next measurement from your center rib. You're gonna get, again, the inside measurement to the inside measurement of your final back piece, your final back rib. And then rinse and repeat that same process. So for example, because I have 3 holes, I have 3 ribs, and I have 2 brackets, or excuse me, center braces. Okay, once this is all done, you're then going to align your boards and put them in the correct location. Set your ribs up, put all your ribs where they need to go, make sure everything's centered, squared exactly how you want it, and then take measurements again. You want to measure from the edge of the cab to the edge of here. So you're going to get that length plus this length, and then add that to your overall length of your final skeleton that you have. Now that is going to give you your length measurement that you would need for a tarp at minimum. Then you're going to rinse and repeat, do the exact same thing. You're going to get the height measurement for this side, height measurement for that side, which would be identical to this one and that one. Multiply it by 2. Then you're gonna add the width across. That is gonna be your minimum measurement for your width of your tarp. Okay, once you have your measurements, you're gonna go out and buy you a tarp of the appropriate size. For example, I have an 8-foot bed. I have a 12-foot tarp in length. I have a 6-foot wide bed. I now have the additional 10-foot width. So now what you're gonna do is take the height of your cab, the same one that you used for all the legs that have that weird dovetail cut. You're gonna take that measurement, square it, and you're gonna cut out all 4 corners. Then this is where the Gorilla Tape comes into play. You're gonna line these edges right here, because if you don't, these are gonna fray up pretty bad. So keep 2 open. The next 2, this is gonna be the part that joins up with the window. You're gonna cut that same exact square as I just said, but this time you're gonna join them. You're gonna join them together, creating a nice right angle on both sides. This will allow you to get a nice boxed out tarp that you know first time around, the second you open it up, that's gonna go to the back, and it makes a much less hassle. Okay, once you have your tarp done, go ahead and drape everything out over your skeleton. Test it out. This is where those bungee cords with the ball on the end of them come into play. You're going to then take that bungee cord, wrap it around your rear brace, that pulls it forward. Same thing for this side, right here. And the next one, if you have my instance, you're gonna do the exact same thing. If it's over there, copy and paste to here. If you're like me and you use the painter's stick, you're gonna run that bungee underneath here so it pulls backward in that direction. The excess, I took a longer bungee cord, ran it underneath the bed, connected it to the other side so it pulled that nice and taut, and it pulled it nice and taut this way. What was nice about it, oh, this is still full. Oh, anyways, what's nice about that excess flap in the back is that you can raise your truck bed and still have the ability to get in and out, no problem. I mean, honestly, you can drop this too, but still. And then went over to Harbor Freight, got me one of these. I wanted the Hercules because I have Hercules batteries already, but they were out of stock. But same exact price, $24 for this fan. Works absolute wonders. Battery was $89 on sale. Sounds a little pricey, I know. But in total, for my application, 8-foot by 6-foot bed, 3 ribs, 2 center bracings, the tarp included, the bungees included, and the bracketry as well as the hinges cost me about 175 bucks. Not necessarily including the fan because not everybody has to get that. But if you have the exact same make and model of my truck, that's gonna be the rough price you're gonna be expecting, at least for an 8-foot bed. Not bad at all, considering some of these soft tops are like 300 bucks. Granted, they're made to be permanent, but they're not super easy to stow. This, however, just fold it down, throw it in the truck. It's a truck, keep it there. It's not flying away. The tarp, however, put in the cab, obviously, because it's definitely gonna blow away. And yeah, that pretty much sums it up. If you got any questions, shoot them into the comment section. I'll try to answer them the best as I can, probably because it's gonna be my only video that I've posted. And then yeah, just want to give a quick shout out to Harbor Freight because Hercules is an absolutely amazing drill impact. I had both the drill, excuse me, the impact too. This was a package deal. I think this was like $189 for the 2 of these, including 1 battery and a charger. Absolutely phenomenal deal. I've had this for going on over a year now, actually. I bought this when we moved in to our place because all of my more permanent tools were located in another state and I just had to get them over here. I'm a diehard DeWalt fan. All the power tools that I have are all DeWalt. But I got this for the time being because I'm thinking, you know, it's just a piece of crap. I can get this thing and it's gonna like just hold up for what I need it to. Not gonna lie, this thing surpasses my expectations. I've used this, granted I didn't use it for everything, but I used it to hang up like all of our pictures, mirrors, practically everything in this apartment that was like drilled together, screwed together, hung up. I even did some heavy duty drilling through these metal studs with just normal lag bolts, no anything, no like, no self-tapping screws, no drill bit, just went straight ham on it. Both of these have held up super well. And funny enough, I also used this for the majority of the project. And as you can see here, battery's still charged. I charged it a year ago. It's still holding charge. It's held up very well. The impact has multiple settings when it comes to speed, power, all that. The chuck has different settings too. Hammer, your different speeds, whether you want slow or fast. Also comes with the additional screw-on handle and the waist-mounted belt clip. Absolutely phenomenal job. If I had the chance to go back, scrap all of my fucking tools and start everything from square one, I would hands down go Hercules. I would compare this to Milwaukee, DeWalt, Makita, Hitachi, the big four, without a doubt. I've even dropped this. As I was working on the truck, you could see I dropped it right there. Just a little chalk mark, no big deal. Dropped it, picked it immediately up, worked just fine. Got a little bit of beer inside of here, works just fine. Nothing. Oh, well, absolutely great power tools. Would 100% recommend. If anybody's got any sketchiness towards Harbor Freight tools, throw it away, because this, without a doubt, severely impressed me. Cool. All right, and there you have it. This is the Tarp DIY soft top. Sweet.